So let's welcome to our linking out stage for November 2020, Amanda Webb.
Hello. And just with all this talk of spiders, it may be in my name, but I'm actually an arachnophobe. Well, in recovery, I am getting better, but the big ones still make me shudder in a corner. So, thanks for that, Sarah. Really enjoyed talking about spiders there. That was really helpful.
Sorry, I had no idea.
I've lived with, the one thing, I'm going to share my screen now because there is a little joke on my screen saying, yes, my name really is Webb. And when I was a child, as someone that's scared of spiders, I was beset by, the bully kids at school calling me Amanda Spiderweb and spider, 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 spider. And now the web is a different thing. So people start talking about the internet, which suits me fine. So I'm really happy now that my name is Webb. I may have hated it in school, but it works for me now.
That's amazing. So Amanda, very quickly, tell us what you do. So you are an amazing marketing specialist, and you have a program called the Trust Strategy. Is that right?
Yes. So it's not exactly a program because it's not 100% defined, but I work with clients for a 6-month period to help them maximize their online marketing. So we start with pulling apart everything that you're doing and putting a process in place. So when people come to me, a lot of what I'm going to talk about today, they tend to be like doing loads, not knowing if what they're doing is working, living in fear that they're spending all this time online and they might not be getting clients, but also what happens if they stop doing that stuff? Will they stop getting clients? So when they come to me, we help put a process in place, a measurable process, which my big thing today, I'm actually going to put it up, even though I wasn't going to say it for ages, is that if you do less, you can get better results. So it's not a defined program because it's customized to each customer that I work with. So that is mainly what I do.
Great. Sounds amazing. We will be putting all the links in the comments. So Amanda's webpage, all of the relevant links in the comments. And if you want to save the comments, which is a really good thing to do at the end, there's 3 little dots, I think it's at the bottom. And if you click on those and it'll say save comments, and you can save those. And I think they save into your Zoom folder. So if you want to do that at the end, then all of the amazing links that everybody's posting in and everything, all of that will be yours. Okay, so Amanda, I'm going to leave the floor over to you. I'm going to mute myself and over to you, Amanda Webb from Spiderworking.
Thank you. And I note there's a lot of digital marketers in the room that I already know, and some that I don't know. So to some of you, you're going to go, I know exactly what she's talking about, but hopefully everyone will pick something up from this. So let me start by asking you, are you doing everything online for your business? Are you perhaps you're blogging and you're making videos and you're doing podcasts and you're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and some places I haven't even thought of, and you're doing all that stuff and you think because you're doing all that stuff, something is going to stick, right? Something is going to work for you. And you're pretty sure something is working for you as well because you get clients from somewhere. You're not quite sure where, but you have that fear that if you stop doing all those things, that you might stop getting clients. That's a big predicament. It's a predicament I had to live with for a while. So what if I told you, actually, you can do less and you can get the same results or even better results than you are by now? And I'm telling you this because I've been digital marketing for about 13 years now. And I am a IDTMWMM in recovery. And probably a lot of you could do with following a process that will also make you an IDTMWMM in recovery. What am I talking about? I do too much with my marketing. Because I used to be that person. I used to blog twice a week, make a video once a week, do a podcast. I used to be really good at Facebook. I was on Twitter. I'm on all these networks still, but differently. And I was just spending so much time doing this stuff. Basically, I wasn't sleeping because I still had to do all the client work and keep up with this ridiculous publishing schedule that I'd set myself. And, at some stage, you need to turn around to yourself and say, something's wrong here. I need to work less hours and I don't want to lose the money. So what I'm going to go through today is some of the things I've implemented for myself and I've implemented with clients that really works. And the first thing, and I actually think this is the most important thing that you can do, is delve down into the problems that you solve for your customer. Now, we're all in business here, so we all sell something, but very often it's not the thing that you think you sell. For example, an accountant, what do they sell? They sell bookkeeping services, payroll, VAT returns, um, tax returns. I knew there was another return I was supposed to do. They sell all that stuff, but that's not what they really sell. I go to an accountant to do my taxes, so I don't have to put my headspace into doing my taxes, so I don't panic that I filled in the forms wrong, so that I know that they will ring the revenue office for me, so I don't have to talk to those horrible people in revenue. So what they're selling for me is peace of mind and convenience. And that's the problem they're solving. My problem is I'm looking at all these complicated tax forms and I just want to cry. My accountant comes along and solves it. I am happy to pay my accountant. And you could be an interior design business. Maybe you sell interior design things. So maybe you sell chairs and paintbrushes and ornaments and stuff that people can put together to upcycle their own stuff. But that's not what you're selling either. You're selling the problem. The problem people have is they want to have a nicer home or a nicer office so that when they're there, they feel more comfortable, or they're not embarrassed when their friends come around and see the state of the place. So finding those problems that you're solving, knowing what it is that you're actually selling can help. And it's not just one problem. Some people love doing their taxes, but they want their accountant to tell them how they can save money on their taxes. So everyone has a different problem. And that brings me to, sometimes this would be the number one thing, who's doing the buying. And don't worry, I'm not going to go into, you got to have a customer persona and this is how you do it. And it's a really long and boring process. Yes, you should have that, but I'm not going to talk about it. But I know there is somebody there going, well, see, I'm not going to tell anyone, but actually my customer is everyone. There is always somebody who thinks that, who believes that. So I was thinking of what is one of the biggest brands, the companies that we know that might think that their customer is everyone. Coca-Cola, right? Everyone drinks Coca-Cola. My mother-in-law, who's in her 70s, drinks Coca-Cola. Sometimes I drink Coca-Cola. My niece, who is working with me on work experience, is 16. Occasionally, she would drink Coca-Cola. So maybe they're onto something. But then if you think about it, their customer isn't everyone because they do this. In the 80s, they launched Diet Coke. They launched Diet Coke in the 80s because that's when people started getting fat and started dieting. I remember when it came out, I thought it was absolutely disgusting and I was never drinking this thing ever again. But they launched it because they realized some people weren't drinking Coke because they thought it made them fat. So they released Diet Coke. And then not long ago, they launched Coke Zero. And here's the thing, Coke Zero is Diet Coke. It's the same stuff. It's exactly the same stuff with different branding. They actually put it together to market the product to men. So they realized that men weren't drinking Diet Coke because diets are for girls. So they launched it with black and red packaging that they thought would appeal more to men, and they gave it a more masculine name. Now, they didn't just get men, they got me. After in the 80s, I said I would never drink Diet Coke. And I know about this marketing tactic, right? I drink Coke Zero. I would not touch Diet Coke. I drink Coke Zero because it comes in a black can and it looks cool. So slowly they're chipping away at the people who don't buy their regular drink to try and get more and more people. And of course, they do more than just Coca-Cola. They do Fanta and all sorts of other drinks. So you can have more than one type of customer, but your customer is never going to be everyone, even if you're Coca-Cola. The next thing I want to look at is your website. And I'm going to talk about this guy. There was this guy that I used to follow on Twitter. I still follow him on Twitter. I just use Twitter less. And he is amazing. He knows every single thing about traveling in Scotland. If you want to go to Scotland, he is the man to follow. I'm not going to tell you he is because of what I'm going to say in a second. He's the man to follow. He helps people out interactively on Twitter. He's great at conversations. He shares amazing historic photos or beautiful photos, stories. I mean, it really is an amazing Twitter account. If I was going to Scotland, I would want to buy from this guy. I would want to go get his help to put together the best holiday ever in Scotland. But then I went to his website. This isn't his website, but this is what his website looks like. I didn't want to out him. I didn't want to go, this guy's got a terrible website. So this is not his website, but this is what his website looked like when I went there. And I was kind of like, I don't even know how to get in touch with him when I go to the website. So all that work he's doing on Twitter, and the only way I could hire him would be through the cumbersome process of messaging him on Twitter, waiting for a response and going through that whole process instead of making it a really smooth, streamlined process. And so many businesses make this mistake. So many businesses will have a website that just isn't helping them sell. So if you've got a website, I'm going to challenge you right now to pull out your phones, and I'm looking at you all, and have a look at your website. Go to the homepage of your website. Sarah, yours is fine. Don't pull that face. Go to the homepage of your website and try and look at it through a stranger's eyes. And can you tell what it is that you do? Is the first thing. Could a stranger who visits this site tell what you do? And secondly, after they visited your homepage, how easy is it for them to either buy from you or make an inquiry from you? What is it clear what they need to do next? Because with the clients I work there with, this is usually the biggest thing. They've just got some sort of website thrown up because somebody told them they should. Their web developer asked them for some copy, so they've gone and written some text for all their pages, and all of it is awful, and none of it nurtures their customers through the process. And I challenge you, if you think your website is okay when you do this, show it to a friend. Show it to a friend and ask them, they may hopefully know what you do for a living, but ask them, can they try and buy something from you or make an inquiry? Just watch them go through the process. It can be quite scary to do, but it's definitely worth it. But wait a minute, Amanda, I thought you were going to give a fun talk about social media. All the people were saying, she's fun, she's funny. And I've just lectured you about your website. So let's talk about social media. Let's talk about doing less on social media. How do you choose the social networks that you're going to use? And I know all of us have said this or have heard this. You should go to the social networks where your customer is, right? And it's true, right? If you're business to business, it's probably going to be easier to find customers on LinkedIn. It really is. But what happens if you hate LinkedIn? What happens if every time that you log into LinkedIn and you go there, knowing that this is the place that you should be focusing on because this is where your customers are, that your heart just sinks a little bit, your stomach turns over. Oh, I really hate this place. It's so boring and salesy. Sorry, Sarah. It's really, really rubbish. I hate it. This is me. I do try on LinkedIn, but I really dislike it. You're never going to be able to succeed in LinkedIn if that's the way that LinkedIn makes you feel. So I would like to twist that and just say, if there's a social network that you enjoy, you will find your customers there. As long as it's not a real niche one, for something really bizarre, you will find your customers there. And I've got proof, right? Because who thinks that people would watch videos from accountants on TikTok? People watch videos from accountants on TikTok. This guy, he just talks about boring, dry accountancy stuff on TikTok. Look at that. Look at the views he's getting on TikTok. He is a TikTok accountant. He's using a social network he enjoys and he's doing it well. So people are watching his videos. What about, and you're going to know the answer now, what about somebody who shares legal news? Is Instagram a good place for that? Well, turns out, yes, it is. It's a really good place for that. Legal Check here have 55.7 thousand followers on Instagram. Those people are interested in getting their legal news on Instagram. Another one, right? Completely different direction. I can't give you as good an example because of the network it is, but what about influencers on LinkedIn? Surely not. Surely not. the place where you find influencers is either TikTok or Instagram. That is it. Ironically, that's my alarm going off telling me to post something on LinkedIn. Turns out, yes, you find influencers on LinkedIn. They're on LinkedIn. So don't completely ignore it. Obviously, if you enjoy LinkedIn and you're business to business, that's perfect. But if you just can't bring yourself to do LinkedIn, either hire someone to do LinkedIn for you or find a social network that you are going to do really well. And that doesn't just go for social networks, it also goes for your content. So that's the next thing. You've chosen your networks. You do need to put some content up sometimes so people know that you exist. Like I said, I used to do all this content. I used to do blogs and videos, and I still do a bit of all of those, but I really focus on one thing now. And the thing I focus on is my live show that I do every Friday morning. It's usually the last thing I do on a Friday, but here I am. And since I started focusing on that show and trying to make it better and better, it's become a better piece of content that attracts more customers. Every single customer that I get, well, 90%, I'd say, or 95% of the customers that I get are watchers of my live show. They have seen my live show or a version of my live show because I repurpose it as well. So trying to create less content, but create better content will drive better results. So if you can focus on one thing that you're going to do exceptionally well, that's going to work for you. And as a common mantra, again, I like to break these things that people say all the time. People will tell you that done is better than perfect. And I'm not saying it's not. I agree. Done is better than perfect. One, because there is no such thing as perfect. But I'm going to put it another way. If you can extend the amount of time it takes to create your content, create it over a longer period of time, give yourself a deadline, do your research, do your creating, then edit, and then do some more editing, and then do some more editing. And if you can get that all done before your deadline, this is the new mantra. Forget done versus is better than perfect. The best that you can do in that time frame is better than done. Because done is great, but if you're feeling, oh, well, I didn't really do it, I rushed that out, you'll always feel a bit rubbish about the content. So having a plan, creating it over a longer period of time, maybe doing one blog post a month rather than one a week or one a day is going to work better for you. And something else, this is another thing, and all the social media marketers out there will know about this, because you go and look at people's accounts and you'll see that they're just talking about themselves all the time. We've just opened, this is our first day opened after lockdown. Oh, we have different levels in Ireland, so I don't understand your levels. We're back to level 3. We'll be able to open on this date. Oh, we're really excited. We won this award. Your customers don't care. Your customers do care that they're going to be able to go out for a cup of coffee in a coffee shop for the first time in 6 months. Your customers do care that they'll be able to meet up with their friends for the first time in 6 months. So we're going back to the problem again. When you reopen, it's not about people giving you charity or people helping you out because you've been closed. It's about what's in it for them. So always put your customer right at the center, make them the hero, make it what's good for them that's happening in your business. And every time you try and write I or we, turn it into you. And that will give you instantly better results in everything that you do. The other mistake, and I promise you, this is the last nag I'm going to give you of the day, is that businesses tend to create either too much soft content that is never going to turn into sales, or they create too much sales content, which just turns people off. And there's a really good balance that you can have. And I came up with this all by myself. It's the circle of trust. So yes, I like that film with Robert De Niro in when he goes around going, circle of trust, circle of trust. That's where it comes from. And this represents all the different sorts of content you should be creating for your business. Now, you don't have to create one of each and go round in a circle. You could actually do a whole month of audience building content and then a whole month of sales content. But it's important that you include all of this in your strategy. So I'll explain it all with examples in a second, but the first T is for tune in, then we've got R for relate, U for uptake, S for sell, and T for tell others. So let's talk about tuning content first. This is reaching as many people as you can so that you can build your audience. The more people you can reach, they get to know who you are for the first time. That's tuning content. So things like appearing on other people's podcasts or appearing on their live shows. And if you can't do that, if you're not able to do that just now, you can flip it. You can interview people for your blog or interview people on your live show, much like Making and Sarah are doing with this. That gets you extra exposure because you're borrowing or tapping into the audiences of these other people that you work with. So that's a great way to bring new people into your network. But that's not enough. Right at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of ads in my Facebook and Instagram feeds, and probably so are you, from companies trying to sell me gifts for Christmas. But I'm not going to buy from them, even if I've seen them pop up somewhere else before, unless I trust them. And the second part of trusting them is not just hearing about them somewhere, it's actually feeling like they understand me. So this is from Pet Sitters Island, and they do a lot of dog walking. So they create a lot of empathetic content on their Instagram feed, and they get lots of comments, lots of people getting into conversations with them, agreeing with them, understanding them. But you could also use things like chatbots. Don't even need to use chatbots if you're a business that only needs a few customers. You can have personal conversations with people, and all that will build that relate content. Stuff like video content. So I think it was Gillian that was saying that she does video marketing. Getting your face onto camera, getting your face out in front of people, particularly in video, is a really good way to build relationships, because when people see you on a screen like this, they actually feel like they're getting to know you, which is, I think, part of the reason that my live show works really well. The next sort of content is uptake. So this is when you would try and get people to join your email list, because as fun as social media is, it's not going to sell as much as your email list will if you build your email list over time. So you can do fun things. This is from Scratchable Map Island, which is kind of self-explanatory what their product is. And they do a lot of quizzes to test your knowledge of Irish landmarks and attractions. And you have the option at the end of it to sign up to their email list. And it's a really good way to attract exactly the right people to sign up. You wouldn't need to do a quiz. You can do an ebook, you can do a download. Anything that your audience will find is super helpful or super entertaining to get them onto the list. Also, here you can have small ticket items just to get people into the habit of buying from you. So maybe you want to do a mini course that's going to sell your more expensive course and sell that for a low ticket price. The S in the circle of trust is the most important one, because this is our sale content. And when you're creating sale content, you go, oh, well, Amanda said I can create sales content here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video telling people what I sell. We know that doesn't work, right? We know that doesn't work in that, hi, I'm Amanda and I'm selling you this. What does work is if you can relate it back to the problems that we were talking about at the beginning and use that as your setup. So if you were an accountant, a good way you could sell me your services could be, your tax deadline is coming up. You've just got this pile of paperwork. Every year you try and do it yourself, and you find yourself very stressed out trying to do it. And then you would talk about your solution. By then you've got my attention, because you've understood what my problem is and you can turn it around. But that's not the only sort of sales content. This is a screen grab from Grand Canyon Whitewater Tours from their YouTube account. And on YouTube, they answer every single possible question that their customers may have about going on a Grand Canyon Whitewater tour, including how you go to the toilet when you're on a Grand Canyon Whitewater tour. Everything is there. And if I'm interested in booking this, I will probably watch every single one of these videos to build my anticipation for going on this trip. And you can be sure, but I actually want to go. I don't know when I'm going to get to go to the Grand Canyon, but I would love to go on a Grand Canyon Whitewater tour after watching this. It's just such compelling content. So sales content isn't always about selling. It's stuff that supports your sales. If your customers are asking you questions, make sure you've got content that answers those questions so they can find it without having to contact you. And finally, there's tell others content. And I know Sarah knows this company really well. Tell others content is when you get testimonials, because that's other people saying how great you are rather than you having to say how great you are. Or you can get case studies with customers. So arrange an interview, a phone interview or a Zoom interview with some of your customers and get them to talk through what their problem was when they came to you and how you solved it and what they thought of your service, and turn that into a blog post. Actually, Agora Pulse are brilliant at this. You'll find lots of case studies on their blogs of the way that their software is solving problems for people. And then you've got user generated content. If you can do something amazing for your customers, something that's photogenic or video worthy, you will find that people create videos and create content around this. And that's why I'm showing you this video. The packaging for Your Style, Your Story, which is an online fashion boutique, is amazing. And this is what it looks like. So let me just play you the video. Hopefully I didn't share my sound because it's really loud. And because the packaging, oh, I've gone to a blank screen. Because the packaging is so nice, people talk about it online. Oh, I just got my package from Your Style, Your Story, and it's so pretty. It's so great. It's lovely to get. It feels like I'm giving a gift to myself. And also it would encourage you to buy stuff for other people because, you know, when they get it, it looks like a gift. It's not like getting something from Amazon in a brown box where they throw it in a gift bag or something that actually doesn't look like it's a gift at all. So doing something that people will want to talk about is really valuable for getting people to talk about you. So in summary, you need to do less and you need to do it better. Cut down your social networks, cut down the amount of content that you create, and really focus on making it brilliant, as good as you can get it. And every time you create a bit of content, the next time, as good as you can get it will be better than the last time. That's if you looked at the first live broadcasts I did, it's not that they were awful, but they were the best I could do at the time, but they're definitely a lot better now. And don't forget, every time you want to write I or we, turn it into a you. Make it about your customers. Solve their problems, do less, and do it better. And that is it. I'm Amanda. I can help you with your digital marketing strategy. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Amazing, Amanda. Thank you so much for that. Can we all just do a round of applause, a real one? And then we can't hear you, but we can see you all. That was absolutely fantastic. Well done, Amanda. Thank you so much for that.